Do it for Christ. Only got one life. Got one shot at this, I gotta do it right. Yeah, I gotta do it right. Yeah, gotta do it right. Yeah. Do it for Christ. Only got one life. Got one shot at this, I gotta do it right. Yeah, I gotta do it right. Time to throw in the towel. I've been holding on this for a while. Moving on my own skin. Crocodile, yeah, I'm washed in the blood. Made new, can't tell who I was. He saved me by grace. He did it just because. Yeah, my flesh was on E. Had to fill it with the spirit. God, I'm complete. Secretly in prayer, gotta keep it real discreet. All the verses they don't write on God breathe. Yeah.
All right, so you know it's Wealthy Marriage Wednesday.
Hey,
you all are so welcome for this day.
Yes.
We are. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you. Somebody should just say thank you.
Thank
Put
you.
thank you in the chat.
Thank you.
It's time for Wealthy Marriage Wednesday. You said you wanted some real estate game. We said we're gonna give it to you on every single Wednesday. So guess what?
Wednesday.
If you a couple out here, if you're not a couple out here, guess what?
Yeah.
You need to watch this show today because we're gonna be talking about property management today.
Yes.
It's a heavy topic. I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of people, man, who do the number one reason why they don't want to invest in real estate is because of property management specifically. They like, man, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't want no tenants. I don't want no toilets. I don't want none of that.
I know that's a big thing for people. That's really a big pushback, folks, because they don't know how to get people, how to get tenants, how to communicate with them properly. So
all of that,
it's a big part of it.
Yeah, well, you know, we've had our fair share of challenges over time.
Yes, we have.
And so, yeah, is it a learning curve with dealing with residents and people's lives? Yeah, because you complicated too.
Right.
You ever think about how complicated you've been at times? You ever been a little extra bougie? Have you ever been the person who moved into an apartment and, you know, there was a wiggly handle on one of the cabinets and instead of pulling out that Phillips screwdriver after you've been living there for a year, you called the property management, hey, it's got a wiggly cabinet handle.
And it's been like that since I moved in here.
Right.
Why are you just now telling me?
Right. It wasn't a problem until now you feel it. So, you know, it's just silly stuff like that. And you say, all right, well, is this going to be a deterrent for owners of property? What should I expect? What should I not expect? What's okay? What's not okay? So I like to talk about property management.
Yeah.
You know, the number one thing that I hear from people who they'll say, I used to do properties. This is what they used to say.
Oh, okay.
I used to have rental property.
Okay.
Usually it's something that they got handed down from somebody or it was something that they had at one time and they didn't know what they was doing. And so they'll say something like this right here. Oh man, I can't stand them tenants. I ain't never doing it again. It's horrible, man. They tore my property up. I ain't doing this again. I'm done with real estate forever. And you run into people like that constantly. And so a lot of the people who even are part of our program or people who we've helped in real estate have owned real estate previously.
Right.
They just had a really, really bad experience.
Right. They did.
And so some of you all have had a really, really bad experience in real estate. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, me and Joy have had a really, really it was bad. We didn't even know it was bad.
We didn't even know it was bad. It was like part of the process.
It was part of the process. So the first rental property we had was in 2013. So this is now 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Was our first rental property. And so we had bought that house in 2009, but it was 2013. And we were leaving our first house and we was like, we're going to keep this house. We're going to keep this place.
Right.
And this property is going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so we're going to keep this house and we're going to rent it out.
Yeah.
So we're going to move. We're going to rent this house out.
Yeah.
So we was like, we're going to rent it out.
That's what we did.
So, okay, we go to rent it out and we leave town.
Yeah.
And we was like, okay, well, we got a property manager.
Right.
Man, we didn't know what we was doing.
Y'all, we didn't know nothing about nothing.
We didn't know how to put the house. All we knew was we cleaned it up. It wasn't, everything was working.
Yeah.
And we left that joint. We was like, all right, we gone. They rented it out. Our payment every month was $1,050, which at the time was a lot of money, man. It was like a big chunk of what we was making.
Right.
And we rented it out for $1,250.
Yeah.
Man, we thought we was busting heads.
Oh, yeah.
We was like, look, we paying the mortgage payment. And after we get done, we got $200 cash money every month.
We thought
they don't want none. So they was like, all right, we're going to charge you 10% on the property manager. So it was like, all right, cool. That's like half. I'm still getting 100.
Right.
So right then, that's $100 a month. I ain't got to do nothing, and I still own this property. I'm feeling kind of good about it. Right. Joy's feeling kind of good about it. We own this property.
Yeah.
So then they called and was like, the chimney was doing something with the fireplace. Yeah. And we was like, what you mean? And they was like, all right, this is going to be a few hundred. And then the next thing, it was like, well, now the roof was leaking. What you mean the roof leaking? Need a new roof? So we ended up having to put a roof. And then it said the HVAC. What you mean? They mean the heating and air unit?
Right. And
they said they had to replace. We was like,
but we was like, all this stuff was working fine when we was there. We lived in this house.
There wasn't nothing wrong with this house.
Was good.
Yeah.
Well.
So that's what happened. So now we sitting there, and that $100 started dwindling away. So we ended up being blessed because there was a hailstorm. So we ended up getting a roof. Yeah. And didn't have to pay no extra for the roof. So we got a new roof on there.
Right.
And then the HVAC system, we didn't realize that we were still covered with a home warranty.
Yep.
So they covered that with a home warranty.
Yep.
So we really didn't have to come out a bunch of cash, but we were stressed about it. And we didn't know what to do about it. And we was feeling some type of way about it.
Yep.
And then, so the property manager, we don't know if they was managing it good or not. All we know is if we getting our checks or not.
Yeah.
And so checks start getting a little light with some maintenance.
Real light.
But then the check started, and then they said out of nowhere, they said, well, the lady wanted to move out. And what? She wanted
to move?
Well, come to find out, she had issues because she had so much maintenance issues. Yep. That's why they wanted to move out.
That's right.
It's because of all the maintenance issues.
Right.
And so the property manager wasn't fixing the maintenance issues, fixing up. They was just cashing checks and not really doing no work for it.
Right.
And so now the tenant's moving out. We left with a property, and guess who's also a realtor?
The property manager.
And so the tenant moves out, and then what do they tell us? They don't say, "Hey, you can clean this place up and you can rent it back out for more money."
Sell it as
they
is.
say, "Oh, you can sell it as is. I got somebody to buy it. Don't worry, you aren't going to have to bring no more money."
Right.
So they collect the commission from us to sell the house, and then they collect another, and they're getting paid on both ends as the buyer and the seller agent. They got paid all the way through the process, and then got paid on the other end, and then they probably sold it to somebody they knew and got a kickback.
Right.
And so all of this, was a problem, and then the next person bought it, and they rented it out for $500 more than what we was getting.
Right.
And so then the property goes up in value and all this other stuff. We're not even gonna get into all of that. Yeah. But our first management experience was absolutely horrible because we didn't self-manage the property.
Yeah. And we figured out that you have to manage
the manager. You have to actually know something. There's no way to avoid it in real estate. If you have a property manager, you have to manage the manager. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to ask questions, look at the stuff, and know if it's happening right or if it's not happening right. And unfortunately, if there was a cheat code, I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
You talking to John and Joy. If there was a lazy way to do it that didn't require a bunch of work, we'll find it.
Oh, we'll find it.
Like if you want to go to some A students who are going to find you all the hard things and have you spilling out a bunch of sheets and doing it, we're not them people. We're the people. We like to keep it real simple and real easy. So if there's the easy way out, we have looked for it and found it.
Yes.
We're both the youngest child. And y'all know the youngest child in every family is always looking to get on as easy as possible.
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, there ain't no cheating it. You have to learn the details of managing these properties.
That's right.
Yep. And so you also, in the process of learning, you learn some stuff.
Yeah.
So we learned, first of all, is that having big houses is not good for rentals.
No.
So if you we had a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house. Yeah. That's just too much bathroom, too much size of house for a rental. Yes. In the market that we were in an affordable neighborhood. We were in an affordable, regular neighborhood. And so guess what? We would have got the same rent for 4 bedrooms and 1 bath, or 3 bedrooms probably and 1 or 2 bathrooms, you know? So it's like, we didn't need to have all that extra space, because if you have extra space, we had a shed in the back, we got a fence, we got a yard, we got all these plants, all that. And so all of that stuff, when you're buying a house for the purpose of renting it, you're not going to buy stuff that has more things for you to maintain. You want to buy a property to rent for the purpose of renting that has less stuff that you have to maintain and less stuff that can be potentially tore up by somebody who's not invested in the property.
Right.
No disrespect
So
to
true.
tenants. We've been tenants.
Oh yeah,
We've been good tenants.
we've been good.
And when I was in college, I was a bad tenant. We had some pit bulls up in that mug, and they would like eat up the little vinyl floors.
Oh my goodness.
They'd be all the kind of stuff, tearing the
Yeah.
carpet up. And we was
Yeah.
in there doing all kind of stuff.
So you gotta
You
be
leave-
able. So you.
Oh, she told me shut up.
So
It
you
was
gotta
bad.
be able to manage the property.
You got to be able to manage the manager.
and you gotta know something about property and keeping it up and
Yep.
maintaining it. So all those things are important
Yep.
when talking about property management in general and a property manager to
Yep.
manage your property.
And so it's all about this right here. And we're going to share this with you is you got to have some mastery.
yes.
And so why do you self-manage properties? You got to self-manage for a little while and so you can understand the client.
That's right.
Like if you got a product, then all you're doing is providing a product in the marketplace, which is a rental product. Well, how you going to understand the client, the tenant, the person, the residents until you serve them directly?
Yes. Yes. So and also you got to manage the manager in the future.
Yeah. So if you have a idea of growing some kind of big company, you want to have a bunch of properties, you want your kids to own properties.
Right.
Well, everybody needs to know the stuff. And the
Yeah.
only way to know the stuff is to do it and to get good at it.
Yeah. And then, wiser, you just got to make better purchasing decisions and better rehab decisions when you're working on your property.
And it'll help you when you manage the properties to be able to make better decisions and you'll be able to do it in a much wiser way. I'm going to give you an example. We're going to give you an example right now.
Yes.
And so now that we're a little bit wiser and we know a little bit
a
more,
little bit.
we do properties a little bit different. So we're going to put
Just
this on.
finished up. Almost done. Just making the last little list.
We're going to give you this right now. Hold on real quick. See, that's what I'm saying. See? All right, hold on. We're going to give it to you right now. Go ahead, play the video. All right, so you see this video right here. Now, when you walking around, you see this property. We walking all the way up and through it. We bought this property for the purpose of renting this property. And so there's certain things about it. It's not an overtly huge space. It's got a washer. It's got a dryer. It's got a stove. There are appliances in it now.
Yeah.
It's got floors that are very hard to mess up.
Yep.
It's got walls that are painted a nice color. It's got a beautiful door that is a solid, easy door.
Yep.
It's got a HVAC system. You look at the bathroom here.
Nice
This is not a
bathroom.
complicated bathroom. It's a
Mm-mm.
very
simple,
straightforward bathroom. It's like we like to put tile in there because it's harder to mess it up.
Yeah, it
When
is.
somebody leaves a tiled bathroom, you just clean it up.
Yep.
And so all the plumbing behind there is new. The toilet is new. The vanity is new.
Yep.
It looks good. There's tile on the floors. After you get done with this property, somebody uses it for a while and then they leave and the things are fine.
Yeah.
All the windows have been replaced to vinyl windows.
Mhm.
If you look at the lights are LED light bulbs in each ones, the nicer ones that last for a while.
Yeah.
All the handles of each door, I know it's a small thing, but all the handles on each door is new handles.
Yeah.
And so all these little details are when you're buying for the purpose of renting, you'll be able to buy a product that is designed for a rental.
Yeah.
And then that is going to be the number one step towards doing great with managing a property is
Right.
picking the right property in the first place.
Right.
It's going to cost you a lot more time, energy, and effort if you're there's some houses that should be owned by a home buyer.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you go through and you make better decisions about what to put in, what not to put in, or to replace,
Yep.
it makes it easier on the management side.
On the
It just
management
really
side.
does. When you
Yep.
go in and you replace your plumbing, put new plumbing in, put PEX in,
Right.
then you have less chance of pipes busting.
Talk to him, Joy.
Pipes busting and things like that, which is number one issues. And when you're dealing with the plumbing and rental properties,
Right.
So,
Right.
you just got to think about those when you're walking through
Yep.
and wanting to rehab your properties, and when you first buy it, all those things are always good to look at, so you can kind of account for those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, the first thing you can do is buy right, and then
Mhm.
you can
They have a pump down here
right there.
that is pumping the water
You see that?
out of this basement.
Look at
Yeah.
this.
This is
We sharing the real deal with y'all.
Right.
Ain't nobody showing you this stuff. This
Right.
is what happens when you do not change the plumbing out is you end up with a swimming pool in the basement.
Right.
Y'all see the swimming pool?
Not going to be a short endeavor.
Nothing fun about
we
that.
have begun the process.
That's sad.
The
Yeah,
pump
this
is
is
pumping
all
up
our journey and learning
over
about property management.
in here. So that's why our system is right.
All right, so hey, we're gonna show you these things. So,
Yeah.
The best part about managing is learning to fix stuff up, so you don't have to manage a whole lot.
That's right.
The better you make your property, the less management you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
You want to make your life easier, fix your properties up good.
Mhm.
Make them solid, make them beautiful.
Mhm.
Make sure the HVAC works. Make sure that everything is easy.
Mhm.
Something simple like where you put the filter. And so if the
Yes.
filter for a furnace is in a place that's hard to get to,
Right.
nobody's going to
Nobody
change it.
change it.
If you put the filter in a place that's easy to change, it's more likely to be changed.
Yeah.
And so make good decisions with your purchase. Don't buy in a place that's got a whole bunch of trees. Guess what? I know you like nature. Hey, I'm a tree hugger too. Kinda.
Are
Not
you?
really. I've hugged
Oh.
a tree before.
You hugged a
I
tree
did.
before?
I did. I hugged it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You know what I'm saying? You like gardening. You like these type of things.
Oh, not me.
Bushes.
I do not
Bushes.
like
You know, what is it? Gazelles. That's not a plant, is it?
That's
That's
an
animal.
animal.
All right. You know, poinsettias. You plant
Yeah.
poinsettias?
No, I don't plant
Marigolds?
Everything I plant dies.
Look here. All of that. You don't want none of that.
Yeah.
Animals and plants don't need to be in your property. You
Trees
want to
and
have
vegetables.
yard. Okay.
Just grass.
Yard and house is
Yes.
what you need. Okay.
Grass.
And driveway if you have a driveway.
Mm.
And as little as possible that you're going to have to fix or replace.
Yes.
Your goal is to help people transition to long-term housing.
Yeah.
So this ain't supposed to be their dream house. You want your dream house, go buy it. This
Right.
is a rental house. Stay here for the amount of time you're going to rent
That you need
and
to
don't tear it up. And so I'm going to do my part by giving it
Mhm.
to you really well. You do your part by maintaining it. And when
That's
it's
right.
time for you to get your house and you're thinking about all the amenities you want,
Right.
I want another walk-in closet. Oh man, we should vault these ceilings. Oh man, we should. Okay, do all of that. Wonderful.
Yeah, in your house.
In your house. But in a house that is designed for the purpose of rental, put in some insulation,
Yeah.
put in some good windows. You know what I mean? Make sure the heat and the furnace works.
Right.
You don't have to put in 10,000 cabinets in there. Put
No.
enough cabinets so people can have a good kitchen.
Yeah.
And then when it's time for them to get their house, they can have
as many cabinets
as many
they
cabinets as they want,
want. Yeah.
as many storage areas they want. They can finish the basement, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So our job is to do that. But there are some cases where you may need a manager.
Yes.
And we want to tell you these, and then we're going to get up out of here. But the times you're going to need a manager are very simple. Is if you live far away,
Mhm.
if you don't live close to the property and you can't get over there, get a manager.
Right. I'm not willing to learn about the different voucher programs or
Right.
certificate programs or whatever they are.
Yeah, sometimes these programs have details, and if you don't want to stay up on how you're getting paid and the things you need to do to service people, don't do it. Just stay away from it.
Yeah. If I have completely run out of time in my calendar, and I'm neglecting my properties and my tenants.
Right. And that's a big one right there. It's
Yeah.
like if you're not able to take care of people, like seriously, you already got 3 jobs and whatever else.
Right.
Well, don't do property management. Pay
No.
somebody to do it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still okay to buy real estate, even if you don't have the time. But seriously, most people have the time, and it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Some of us have a feeling if you are unwilling to hold people accountable,
Mhm.
that's probably the biggest one, and one we want to leave you with.
Yeah.
It's like, guess what? The rent's due, and there's nothing else about it. Like when you leave Walmart and you check out, if you don't pay before you leave, you stole it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's no difference.
Right.
Guess what? You can't walk out. There's a security guard who's going to come after you and say
Right.
something. If you're not willing to be held accountable, you just don't walk out with a bunch of free stuff.
Exactly.
And if you say, and you sign a paper and say, I'm going to use this place from this time to this time,
Right.
and you don't pay,
Right.
it's not a agreement until both sides do what they're supposed to do.
That's right.
It's not just an agreement for you to do what you're supposed to do. It's an
Mhm.
agreement for both sides.
Right.
And if you're not willing to be a person who can say, hey, you owe me some money, you need to pay it, then property management probably isn't for you. But that doesn't mean real estate isn't. It just
That's right.
means you may need
A
some
property
systems and some help to be
Yes.
able to get it done. Man, I can't tell you how much we love y'all. That's why I'm glad for
Yes.
Joy. She fired me from property management. I no longer manage anything
Yeah.
because I found out I like to give stuff away way too much. I enjoy giving, and Joy likes to give too, but at the same time, she don't mind asking you for that money. and she ain't got no problem sending you off to wherever you need to get sent to make sure you do what you're supposed to do. So God bless y'all.
Yes.
We love y'all. Find you a partner in this game.
Yes,
Somebody
come on, y'all.
who you
What?
look so cute today. It doesn't even make any sense.
Yes.
All right,
thank
but
you.
that's beyond the point. And so I lost track of what I was saying.
Yeah.
Make sure- what
Get
was it?
ready and
You look beautiful.
thank you.
All right,
sir.
so what was I saying? Find you a partner who's stunning. Find you a partner who you enjoy
Find
hanging
you
out
a
with.
partner to do real estate with or to work with
All of those things.
in this business. It makes it a lot easier to manage
Yeah.
when you have someone that's going along on the journey with you
All right.
All
And we
right.
love y'all. It's so much better
together.
together.
Bye.